Dear friends, this is Srinivasan, who is having more than 40 years experience in this construction industry, trying to present you a small presentation for the important details that every site professional must be aware of it. It's a part 2. It's a civil conclave presentation. In this part, we cover steel in RCC, lap length, crank bars, development length, chair spacing, free fall of concreting, reinforcement requirement structural elements, slab construction process, different type of slab, one way and two way slab, conversion table and many more. Steel in RCC, for every concreting cubic meter, the consumption will be 80 to 100 kgs depend upon the structure. Lap rod. Lapping is not allowed for the bars of diameter more than 36 millimeter. Lap length is 50 into dia of the bars. Development length divided by lapping length. Compression is equal to 30 diameter. Tension is equal to 47 diameter to 60 diameter. Here you can see the lap length and how this lapping has been done. Okay. Common lap length 45 diameter to 50 diameter. Beam and slab lap length 50 dia to 69 diameter. Lap length hook is 9 dia. Length required for a bent up bars is equal to 42 diameter. Here I given the various methodologies of how to do the bending and how the lengths and everything has been provided. This has been explained in my previous bar bending schedules also. This is again how the bent up and how everything has been provided. This has been provided in detail. See, this is the overlap length. It is 50 dia or 50 dia for a compression member, 40 dia for a tension member. See, here you can see the lap length. Okay. Grade of a concreting. Mild steel. Fe 250, that is 55 dia, 46 dia, 39 dia for M25 in tension members, 45 dia for M15, 37 dia for M20, 32 dia M25 in compression. For steel of Fe 415, 57 dia for M15, 47 dia for M20, 41 dia for M25. This is for a tension member. Compression 47 dia for 15, 38 dia for M20, 33 dia for M25. This is for a compression member. Tar steel Fe 500, 68 dia for a M15, 57 dia is for M20, 49 dia is for M25. This is for a tension member. 57 dia for M15, 46 dia for M20, 39 dia for M25. This is for compression member. Here this is a various type of how the hook lengths and everything has to be provided. It has been provided in detail, which has been explained in my previous bar bending schedule also. Length of a crank bar L by 4 or L by 5 or 0.42 of the diameter of the bar. Crank is equal to 45 degree. See, here you see this is a lap length, this is a crank bar is 45 degree. Here also you can see it. This length will be 42 dia. This is L by 4. This is the total length. That is where the crank bar has been coming. It is L. That is the length. Okay. Development length and lap length. Lap length addresses the length of the bar needed to transfer the stresses to the other bar, whereas development length addresses the length of the bar needed to transfer the stresses to the concrete. Development length. Usually at the end of the section where you have a forces in the bar, you need to make sure that the bar pull out failure doesn't happen. In order to resist forces in rebar, it has to be embedded in concreting. A development length is the amount of rebar length that is needed to be embedded or projected into concrete to create a desired bond length. between the two materials and also to develop the required stress in steel at that section. In this example below, we require development length of 10 dia bars at the end of the section so that the bond between concreting and steel remain continuous. As there is no space at the end of the section, bar is bent. Notice that 90 degrees detail refer to ACI or Indian Standard Development Length section. Development length example. Below is the example of typical beam length and column section. Reinforcement in the beam extended to the column for the same distance. Here you can see that LD is the development length in tension, D5 bar diameter. Mathematical formula: LD plus 10D A is equal to divided by max. You can see that LD and everything has been totally explained here. Calculated tension or a compression reinforcement at each section of RCC member is developed on each side of that section by hooks or embedded length of mechanical devices. In the restraining concreting section is comparatively thin, cannot be withheld the position of the highly stressed bars, then development is provided, thus to avoid splitting of bars from concreting. This extra embedded length provided is called as a development length. Basic purpose is to provide fixed support to the bar. Hooks are not provided in compression reinforcement. Where there is no space for extra length, hooks are provided for restraint. Lap length. Lap length is provided when you require a tension reinforcement, but the length of the bar is not sufficient to continue through the entire member. For example, columns. Now columns are typically 100 feet tall. Neither we can have a 100-meter long bar, nor it is possible to erect it. So we tend to cut bars for every two-storied or single-storied. Now at the location of the discontinuity, we want the tension forces to be transferred from one piece of a bar to another. So for that, we tend to provide second bar near to the one that is discontinued, and the amount of overlapping between the two bars is called as a lap length. When length of the reinforcement bars has to be extended in reinforced concrete, structural member splicing is used to join two reinforcement bars to transfer the force from one bar to the joining bar. The forces are transferred from one bar to the other through bonds in concreting. Force is the first transference rate through bond from one bar, and then it is transferred to the other bar, forming to the splice through bond between it and concrete. Thus, concreting at this point of splicing is subjected to high shear and splitting stresses, which may cause a crack in the concreting. The code also specifies that of the flexural member should not be at section where the bending moment is more than 50% of the moment of resistance, and not more than 50% of the reinforcement bar should be spliced at any given section. Chair spacing. Chair spacing maximum is 1 meter or one number for every 1 square meter. Here you can see the chair spacing. This is a type of a chairs. Okay, you can see that. Minimum thickness of slab is 125 mm. The free fall of the concreting is maximum 1.5 meter. Here you can see. Okay, everything has been explained in this diagrams. Reinforcement required for RCC element. Reinforcement steel required for RCC foundation, footing, pillar, beam, slab is not the same requirement of the RCC element of a residential building. It's not the same as the steel requirement in commercial building. So I can give the minimum steel requirement and maximum steel requirement. Steel requirement for RCC foundation 56 to 89 kg for 1 cubic meter, Steel requirement for RCC pillar and column 115 kg to 144 kg. Cross section area of steel in an RCC pillar should be within 0.8 percentage to 6 percentage of the cross section of the pillar. Steel requirement for an RCC beam 108 kg to 125 kg in 1 cubic meter. Steel requirement for RCC slab 56 kg to 89 kg for 1 cubic meter of concrete. Cross section area of steel in a beam should not always more than 15% of the total cross section area of the beam. Steel requirement for a RCC retaining wall is based on earth filling material to be retained and the height of the wall. Thickness of the wall, dedicated steel requirement will also depend upon these factors. Steel requirement for an RCC wall of an overhead water storage tank will depend upon the water to be storage of the height of the tank from the ground level. Wind effect to be considered to finalize the design. Steel requirement for RCC wall of a water storage tank below ground level. Steel requirement for this tank will be less than that of an overhead tank. All these data derived from the residential, commercial and industrial projects. Some of the data about the consumption of the steels from seniors including structural engineers, senior planning engineers and etc. etc. Foundation of the bar bending schedule. A reinforcement is called bar bending schedule. Is given RCC work thing and is displayed to form a tabular layout of a simple graphical references. The following table optimizes all the required details of the bar such as diameter, shape of bending, etc. etc. This preparation will also help us, the quantity surveyors, to calculate it. The figure below portrays the shape and proportion of the hooks and bends of the reinforcement bar. These are customary proportions that are attached to. Length of one hook is equal to 4D, that is 4D plus D whole, where 4D and D relates to the curved portion is equal to 9D. The supplementary length LA, that is introduced in the plain straight end-to-end length of a reinforcement bar going to be bent up at theta degree related to 30 degree to 60 degree, but it is usually 45 degree, is equal to 11 minus 12 is equal to 1A. Here the various type of a bend up bars images. Here I given the entire calculation how to work out the hook length and bent up length, which you can study it. This same is applicable for various hooks and bend ups, which I discussed you in my previous various bar bending schedule presentation. Slab construction process. Slab laying process. RCC slab done in 4 stages such as formwork and shuttering, bending and binding of steel bars and laying of concrete. The item involved formwork, bending and binding steel bar, spacing of steel bars, laying of cement concreting. The formwork should be as per IS 14687 to retain concrete. Formwork of shuttering and shuttering is required, which provides the support to the wet concreting until it has gained the sufficient strength to be self-supporting. Here you can see the image of how the slab shuttering has been carried out. Bending and binding of steel bar. At the time of designing the slab, it is considered that the concreting is strong in compressive strength but weak in tensile strength. So, make the structure safe against the tensile stress, steel bars are provided. Spacing of steel bar. Steel diameter and its spacing in the RCC slab is calculating by the designing of the slab according to the load and span of the slab. In general, 12, 10 and 8 mm diameter steel bar are used in RCC slab. According to the length of the span of the slab, and similarly spacing is from 4.5 inches to 6 inches in the main bars and 6 inches to 8 inches in the distribution bars. spacing of the bar. S is equal to ASF divided by ASF into 1000. Maximum size of the bars. D is equal to diameter of the bar. D15 greater than 1 divided by 8. Weight of the rod in meter is equal to D2 divided by 162. Laying of cement concreting. Make walkway for a steel bars for placing the concreting so that reinforcement is not getting bent up. Beam. A beam is a structural element that is capable of withstanding the load, primarily resisting against the bending. The bending forces induced into the material of the beam as a result of the external loads, own weight, span and external reactions to these loads is called a bending moment. Beam construction process. Formwork, bending and binding steel bars, laying of cement concreting, curing. Concreting, formwork and shutterings to be required. Here you can see the various images which will explain you how to carry out the formwork. Cover blocks. This is all the cover blocks. 20 mm to 25 for RCC slab, 30 to 40 mm for column, 15 to 20 for beams and column, 50 mm for footing, 50 mm for footing. This is the various types of the cover blocks readily available in the market. Various type of the slab. This is one-way slab. This is a two-way slab. Here it is again a one-way slab. This is a flat plate slab. This is a flat slab. This is a grid slab. Okay. One-way slab. One-way slab are a slab in which one side is very large compared to the other one. Generally, if one side is more than the double of the other one, the slab will be one way. Now in one-way slab, as one side is bigger than the other side, most of the load is carried out by the side only, so providing main reinforcement corresponding to the load carrying side will be sufficient. To support the larger side, main reinforcement are provided perpendicular to the side of a parallel to a shorter side and along a longer side, that is parallel. Only steel is required for supporting is provided calling distribution steel, which can help in carrying load. Here you can see the images, the distribution bars, main bars and everything has been explained. One-way slab. Length divided by width is equal to greater or is equal to 2. Length, long span, S1, code of RCC slab. 150 mm is the slab thickness. Width is a short span. The length is a long span. Direction of the main reinforcement towards the short span. Distribution bars towards the long span. Okay. This main bars will be having an alternative bent up bar. Now you can get an idea of how the one-way slab has been worked out. Definition of a slab. Definition of a one-way slab. Design of a concept. Minimum thickness of a one-way slab. Load assignment of slabs. Temperature and shrinkage reinforcement. Temperature and shrinkage reinforcement ratio. Design procedure. Layer of reinforcement concreting with a uniform vertical variety. This image will explain you how it has been carried out. See, here you can see this is whatever I explained has been explained in the images. Deflection. Simple supports on two long edges only. Here you can see this is the deflection area. Minimum thickness of the slab. Element one-way slab. Simply supported L by 20. One end continuous L by 24. Both end continuous L by 28. Cantilever L by 10. If the span length direction of bending, if WC is equal to 90 to 120 pounds per foot, factor will be applied by 1.65 minus 0.005 WC. If YE is equal to 60, KSA factor will be 0.4 plus Fy divided by 1 lakh. One-way slab. One-way slab divided by slide ratio is equal to Ly by Lx greater than 2. That is Ly, that is the length, Lx is equal to width. This is a one-way slab. When the ratio of the long span to short span is lesser than 2, then the slab is known as a slab spanning in two directions. That is a two-way slab. Okay. Here you can see two-way slab, how it is been, because the length is smaller than the width. When length divided by width lesser than 2, the one-way slab design go beyond effectiveness. We know one-way slabs are designed to transfer the loads to only two opposite supports walls. But when L is equal to L divided by B is less than 2, two opposite support walls can't take the load. So a criteria is required to transfer the load for four supporting walls. Here you can see the main tension bar, concreting slab, supporting walls. Typical one-way slab. This is a two-way slab where it has been transferring load in the all four columns. In case of one-way slab, we all know that when loaded, such slabs blend into cylindrical surfaces. But in case of two-way slab, when loaded, such slab bend into a dished surface rather than the cylindrical surface. Here you can see, which I try to explain in the images. AC, it is a two-way slab. When it has been deflection has been come down, it is a dished surfaces. In one-way slab, it is the ratio of long span to short span is lesser than 2, then the slab is known as a slab spanning. It's known as a two-way slab. This is the images which have been explained. Sorry, it is already double. That means at any point of the slab is curved in both directions, and since bending moment are proportional to curvature, moments also exist in the both directions. To resist this moment, the slab must be reinforced in two directions by at least two layers of bars, perpendicular respected two pairs of edges. The slab must be designed to take a proportionate share of the load in each direction. Two-way edge supported slabs, two-way column supported slabs, flat plates, flat slabs and waffle slabs. Two-way edge supported slab. In this simplest type of a two-way slab, here the slab or a slab panel is supported along in four edges by relatively deep monolithic concreting beams or wall concretings. Here, see, this is the two-way slab. This is the breadth, this is the length, okay. This is all around the four beams the load has been getting transferred. Two-way column supported slab. This is called as a flat plate slab. This type of a two-way slab is suited for a light loads. Use of flat plate is limited by their punching shear capabilities, where large thickness is required in case of heavy loads of large span, thus rendering in the system uneconomical. Here you can see the first slab, flat slab with the drop panels, flat slab with a stubborn head, flat slab with a drop panel and column head. Two-way column supported slabs. This is known as a waffle slab. This is attributed to the considerable reduction of the dead load as compromised to other floor slabs. Here you can see the image of it. Waffle slabs. Here you can see the heavier loads, how it has been constructed. This is the image of a waffle slab. Waffle slab construction consists of orthogonal sets of ribs with solid parts at the columns, as shown in the figure. Here you can see that. The ribs are formed with the fiberglass or metal domes forms. Okay, you see this. Two-way slab. Two-way slab divided by side ratio is equal to Ly by Lx, that is length by width, lesser than 2. That is a two-way slab. Random rubble masonry. Rubble stone and sand and cement. The rubble stone are regular shape and designed to have a proper interlocking. The quantity of stone required shall be approximately 10 in excess of volume. This is the various conversion factors of formulas to length and volume to things. This is the metric conversion factors. This is the area conversion factors which I given. This is the volume conversion factor which has been given. I cannot explain because as it will take a longer time for explaining all these terms. Here again the surface areas and formulas which have been given. I cannot explain in this YouTube because it will take a quite long time. People get bored to watch it out. So you have to understand these things. This is again perimeter area and volume formulas, area formulas, volume formulas. Thank you for watching this presentation. Kindly subscribe, like and share, which will motivate me for a further good presentation. In case of any queries, do not hesitate to write to me. The response shall be at the earliest. You can contact me at civilconclave@gmail.com or at my Telegram group, Ask Srini Telegram group. The link is as follows. Kindly subscribe, like and share so that I can be motivated and give good presentation. Thank you for watching this presentation. Once again, kindly subscribe.